doing, Bella?
Don't take your jacket off.
Okay. I'm playing.
This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I really appreciate you joining me today. And this next story comes from Suffolk Police, and it's in Ipswich, and it's about the murder of a 2-year-old girl called Isabella, who was murdered by her mother's boyfriend. Today, 24-year-old Scott Jeff has been jailed for life after being convicted of murdering 2-year-old Isabella Jonas-Wheildon. The daughter's mother, Chelsea Gleason-Mitchell, also aged 24, was sentenced to 10 years at Ipswich Crown Court on Friday the 13th of December 2024 for their roles in the death of Isabella. Jeff must serve a minimum of 26 years and Mitchell must serve a minimum of 10. Jeff was found guilty of murder on the 22nd of November 2024 following a 7-week trial, and Gleason-Mitchell also stood trial alongside Jeff and was found not guilty of murder, with the judge directing the jury that it was only possible for one of them to have committed the offence. However, Gleason-Mitchell previously pled guilty to allowing the death of a child and 2 offences of child cruelty and causing or allowing the death of a child in a homicide act. Jeff denied 2 counts of cruelty to a child but was found guilty of these offences in addition to murder. Both Jeff and Mitchell were sentenced to terms of 6 months and 3 months to serve respectfully for the child cruelty offences, and they will be served concurrently. Isabella's body was discovered on Friday the 30th of June 2023. She was found in a buggy at a temporary accommodation in Ipswich, where Jeff and Gleason-Mitchell had been staying for the previous 11 days. It is believed that she died 4 days earlier, during the evening of Monday the 26th of June. The defendants, both of them of no fixed abode but formerly of Bedfordshire, were arrested in the early hours of Saturday the 1st of July in Bury St Edmunds, having fled Ipswich after police had found Isabella's body in the flat where they had been staying.
Right, don't move, okay? Right, I'm arresting you, okay, due to the fact that Isabella, okay, was found alone and deceased at your home address, okay? So I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You didn't have to say anything.
Jeff and Mitchell were both charged with murder on the 4th of July and made their first court appearance the following day. The pair were later additionally charged with 2 counts of cruelty to a child after tests found traces of cocaine and cannabis in Isabella's system. An initial post-mortem examination held on the 4th of July was inconclusive, and following a subsequent number of expert tests, her cause of death was determined to have been bone marrow embolisms and skeletal trauma. Isabella sustained fractures to both her wrists and pelvis and injuries that were consistent with having been kicked or stamped, and extensive bruising all over her body. Bone marrow from her pelvic injuries entered her bloodstream and lungs and caused an embolism. A world-leading bone expert who conducted some of the tests after the initial post-mortem told the court that in his 40-year career, Isabella's injuries were the worst that he'd ever seen. Such was the severity of the fractures, he likened them to what you'd see in a high-speed road collision. These injuries occurred in the time frame Jeff had entered into the relationship with Gleason-Mitchell, with the pathologist determining that the first significant injury was to her wrists and it occurred on the 12th of June. The court heard that Jeff and Mitchell's relationship began in May 2023, having been in a short relationship in 2019. They left their home in Bedfordshire a month prior to their arrests on the 1st of June and travelled by train to Great Yarmouth. They initially told friends and family they were going on holiday, but then later claimed they were fleeing domestic abuse at the hands of a former partner of Mitchell's, a claim she later admitted was false. They spent the next 11 days in different accommodation in Great Yarmouth and Castor-on-Sea, which was just slightly further along the Norfolk coast. CCTV inquiries made by police into their movements during this time in Norfolk found numerous occasions on which they were seen out and about. This included them leaving her unattended in a caravan while they were out drinking. Analysis of Scott Jeff's mobile phone also found videos that he filmed during the time where he was verbally abusive to Isabella to such an extent he made her cry. Gleason-Mitchell was just sat a few feet away while this was taking place and did nothing to intervene, and was shockingly seen laughing at one point when the camera panned around to her. By Monday the 12th of June, they ran out of money for proper accommodation, and after sending several messages to friends and family asking for money, they eventually bought a tent and camped on the beach and Castor-on-Sea for the next 4 nights. On the 16th of June, police were alerted to their presence on the beach, and police checked on their welfare and supported a move to alternative accommodation. At the same time, an employee of a nearby restaurant secured them some free accommodation at another holiday park nearby. This offer was corroborated by the police, and they were transported there later that day.
I understand you might be homeless. Yeah? Is your partner here?
No, he's at the old, at the pub charging his phone at the moment.
At the old hall?
Yeah.
Tell me, right, so first of all, sort of really need to know who you are,
Yep.
the situation,
Yep.
what we can do to help, because it's not the best place in this heat for your little girl,
No.
is it?
No.
No? Are you okay? You all
Yes.
fitting well?
Yes.
How long have you been down here?
We've been here for 3 weeks.
Over the course of that weekend, they were found temporary accommodation in Ipswich, where they arrived on the 19th of June. Again, during that time in Ipswich, CCTV inquiries found numerous occasions where the pair went out and about without Isabella and left her alone in the flat. It is believed Isabella sustained a broken wrist and some other bruising after she arrived in Ipswich, and she was frequently seen wearing a winter coat while in Norfolk during a very hot June, and she had large sunglasses to hide injuries. It was during the next week, while at the temporary accommodation in Ipswich, that the prosecution believe that Isabella sustained more injuries, and this culminated in what proved to be the fatal assault on the 26th of June. Scott Jeff was caught on CCTV at the temporary accommodation at 5 to 5 that afternoon in a makeshift sling. Gleason-Mitchell claimed while giving evidence during the trial that he hurt himself when violently hitting Isabella during the fatal attack. Later that evening, Isabella began to have difficulty breathing, and the pair said they attempted to perform CPR on her, but Gleason-Mitchell stated at the time that she realised she had died. She looked at her watch and it was 20 to 12 on Monday the 26th of June. 30 minutes after this, the couple went out to the shops, and CCTV showed them joking and apparently unaffected by what had just taken place. On Tuesday the 27th of June, Scott Jeff's phone was used to make searches on Google that included a flight to Scotland's price and the train to Amsterdam. Do you need a passport to go to Amsterdam? Detectives believe this was the beginning of a plan to ultimately hide the crime and flee the country. This theory is supported by evidence that Gleason-Mitchell gave during cross-examination when she told the court that Jeff had asked her to buy a shovel. Over the course of the next 3 days, they proceeded to carry on as normal, pushing Isabella's body around in the buggy, and this included getting on the bus in town and going shopping and going to the pub. During a trip into town on the 29th of June, Jeff brought a second-hand games console, and when he came out the shop, he was caught on CCTV placing the bag on top of Isabella's body, which would have been in the buggy. As the week progressed, Gleason-Mitchell was in contact with a friend and told her something bad had happened, before eventually disclosing that Isabella had died and her body was in a buggy in their flat. The friend contacted Bedfordshire Police on the 30th of June, and then also contacted Suffolk Police, who immediately tried to locate them, and they quickly tracked them down to the temporary accommodation in Ipswich. CCTV also saw them in a local pub that afternoon, and this was the same afternoon that Jeff did the Google searches. At approximately 10 to 5, they arrived at Ipswich Station and boarded a train to Bury St Edmunds, where they spent several hours in a pub until it was closing. Following extensive inquiries, police located them in Bury St Edmunds at around 20 to 1 on the 1st of July. They were both arrested. Whilst giving evidence during the trial, Gleason-Mitchell said she witnessed Jeff assault Isabella, and attacks that escalated when he became frustrated that she had an accident while potty training. Gleason-Mitchell admitted that she failed to intervene or take any action to remove Isabella from the situation, and she put her relationship with Jeff ahead of protecting her daughter. Jeff denied ever assaulting Isabella, and said he did not know how she got her injuries. Both of them denied the charge of murder, and the jury was told by the judge they could only find one of them guilty, and they found Jeff guilty.
Isabella, okay, was found alone and deceased at your home address. Okay, so I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You don't have to say anything with my home defence. You don't mention my question, something which you later will only court. Anything you do say may be given evidence.
Okay.
The necessity for arrest is obviously to gather evidence, present lost evidence and interview you. Okay?
My vape's in my hand, but can you put it back in, like take it off?
Sorry?
No, I've got my vape in my hand.
I'll take it off you in a second.
Okay,
Right, it's just a vape, yeah?
Yeah, it's just a vape.
Okay. Have you got anything else on you?
I've just got my partner's wallet, that's it.
Okay.
But that's...
do you understand
Yeah,
what you've been arrested
yeah.
for? Okay.
And I think
making
I've got
sure.
money in the other pocket, but that's on the wallet anyway, so I've just got... But you can...
This is why I've come down here for the day, so I can have a drink, and I was going to hand myself into what I've got. But I never murdered her. So the state I was in, I couldn't really deal with the police at that moment in time. I was really not in the right state.
It's just rubbish.
So this is just what I was trying to avoid for the night. But I've had my myself in.
Just turn around.
The detective in charge of the case says, as I said following the convictions, the murder of any child is the worst crime imaginable and no sentence will ever be long enough for them, but the court has imposed the most severe penalty that has ever been deemed appropriate. Throughout the entire investigation we have been fully focused on achieving justice for Isabella, and this has been what we have delivered. We know nothing will ever bring her back. And I once again want to pay tribute to her family who have endured unimaginable pain during this case and also what they have divulged through the trial. And this story definitely goes to show how children can be put in danger by their own parents. A mother should want to protect her child, but this is not always necessarily the case. And to ever pick somebody over your child is heartbreaking, and to stand by and watch them get hurt in the process is also really makes you believe that evil exists. So I really want to hear what people have to say, and please pay respects to Isabella in the comments. And I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow on social media as well at Scarcity Studios. Peace.